Hello, friends. I welcome you to this online lecture series, Unit 1 of first part of risk management subject as the introduction to risk management and risk identification. Before the pandemic, I have already engaged two classes for you, and I have covered the basic parts connected with this uh, topic, that is risk management and risk identification, introductory part. So this chapter deals with many subpoints like risk and uncertainty, types of risk, burden of risk, sources of risk, methods of handling risk, etc. In this previous lectures, we have already seen what is a risk. I will just brief out once again for the students, those who have missed the classes, physical classes. But now the pandemic has pushed us to go for online classes. So I just brief out the previous discussions, what I have made in the physical classes. Please pay attention, the students who have not attended the previous class. What is risk? Risk is anything that may affect the achievement of an organization's objective. It is an uncertainty that surrounds the future events and outcomes. It is the expression of the likelihood and impact of an event with the potential to influence the achievement of an organization's objective. Anything that blocks the achievement of an organization's objective and create a kind of loss or create a kind of hazard, kind of a problem for achievement of an objective of the organization, which is uncertain, is called as a risk. Anything that may affect the achievement of an organization objectives. For example, an accident of a vehicle which creates a loss to the transportation organization. So accident may be a risk, or earning a financial loss, incurring a financial loss is a risk. So these are various risks which are encountered in every business. So anything that does not allow, anything that blocks and does not allow an organization to achieve its objective and creates disturbances or a problem in the achievement of organization goal is considered as a risk in the business. Risk identification, we have already seen. According to a dictionary, risk or definition, what exactly risk? Risk refers to the possibility that sometimes unpleasant or dangerous might happen. Any kind of unpleasant or a dangerous kind of a happening which is creating a loss or a damage to a property or an individual or to certain asset is called as a risk. According to E.J. Wogwan, risk is a condition in which there is a possibility of an adverse deviation from a desired outcome, that is expected or hoped. Any of condition in which there is a possibility of an adverse deviation from a desired outcome. If the desired outcome does not come out, basically because of the deviation or adverse possibility, that is called a risk. A degree of risk refers to the likelihood of occurrence of an event. It is a measure of accuracy with which the outcome of a chance event can be predicted. What is a degree of risk? When an occurrence or happening of the loss or happening of an event which creates the loss can be measured, or its accuracy of happening, if it can be identified, it is called as a risk, degree of risk. It is called as evaluation of likelihood of occurrence. That is a chance of an event to predict. In most of the risk situations, two elements are commonly found. That is, the outcome is uncertain, and the outcome of the possible, then out of the possible outcomes, one is unfavorable or not liked by the individual or the analyst. That is called risk. It has two important parts of the risk. One is the outcome is uncertain. The possibility of risk is not accurate every time. It may happen, may not happen, the uncertainty it is. And second one is, if it happens, the outcome is always negative or unfavorable to an individual or the analyst. That is what we call as risk characteristics. Risk versus uncertainty. In most of the cases, we express that all risks are uncertain, but all uncertainties are not risks. What is uncertainty? Uncertainty refers to a situation where the outcome is not certain or unknown. uh, Uncertainty refers to a state of mind characterized by a doubt based on the lack of a knowledge about what will or will not happen in the future. Whether it happens or does not happen, there is no possibility. Uncertainty is unpredicted happening which the person has not estimated before it happens. This is called uncertainty. Look at the picture where the cat has not understood that its neck uh, will be under a problem when it pokes its face in the box, because once it pokes its face in the box, it could not get it out. So it is an unexpected thing happens to a cat where it is going to suffer, where there is no other way other than suffering. But risk is something different. In a risk, predicted possibility of loss is understood. Possibility of happening and uncertainty, if it is predicted before it happens, it is called as a risk. For example, a building with a damage in the uh, ceiling can easily be identified that during a rain, the water will percolate inside. So this is what uncertainty, which is probed before it happens, that is called risk. Uncertainty is said to exist in the situation where decision makes lack complete knowledge, information, or understanding concerning then proposed decision and its possible consequences. In this picture also, one could easily understand that the dog behavior is always positive. Sometimes if it is emotionally burst out, it may bite the person. The person doesn't know that the dog is going to bite it. This is called uncertainty. Risk versus uncertainty. If you see the risk and uncertainty, risk is quantifiable. Look at the person walking on the rope, that he knows that he is going to fall down. He has already estimated, and that is why he is trying to balance with the stick in such a way that he cannot fall down. He should not fall down. So if the possibility of happening a loss is understood, and if you make a manage yourself, you manage that risk and comes out of that particular problem, this is called risk management. There is no uncertainty management. There is always a risk management, because risk can be quantified, it is quantifiable. A possibility of happening of the loss, if it is predicted, the probability of the risk can be quantifiable, is can be measured. But uncertainty is not quantifiable because it cannot be estimated, it cannot be predicted also before it happens. Statistical assessment is possible for the risk calculation, but it is a uncertainty is subjective probability. Then risk has a hard specific data, but uncertainty has information and opinion, which may happen or may not happen. Take an example of the COVID now. Uh, Before the COVID has come into picture, nobody has estimated, predicted that it is going to create so much of lockdowns, losses, or deaths to the people. Just 1.5 years before, even if the corona was identified in China, but Indian people have not predicted that it would come in the country and create so much of havoc. This is what we call as uncertain. Now what happened, the risk, the uncertainties already happened, everybody has estimated. Now people can understand how it is going to spread, in what way it is going to spread. So when the uncertainty is identified with the possibility of happenings in a quantifiable way, that it comes when the physical contact comes with the people who is contagious, who is already having the disease, or it may spread in the air, something like that. Therefore, use of a mask, sanitization, and a kind of social distance will prevent the person from getting the infections. So now, risk is, there is a possibility of a corona, but it can be managed if it can be managed by using the masks, sanitizers, and social distances. So now uncertainty is converted into risk. Now, even if you are doing all this, there is a possibility that it may affect you in any other mode because of negligence or something like that. In the environmental way, it may come to you also. Now, for that particular thing, what is the possibility of occurrence of that particular disease to the person having a particular age, so how it can be cured, which medicine is going to act upon. So these are all having a hard statistical data to quantifiable analysis, which makes the people to protect themselves against the disease. If you follow the standard operating procedures, there is a possibility that you may not be able to get that COVID disease. So uncertainty now it is converted to risk. When the uncertainties come into experience of the people, when they understand the quantum of it, they plan to manage that. So uncertainty is converted into risk. So therefore we say all risks are uncertainties, but all uncertainties may not be risk. Loss and chance of loss. Risk refers to a situation where there is a possibility of a loss. Why we are afraid of risk? Why we are going to take care of the risk management and all that? Because every risk creates a loss. So if the loss occurs, it is going to create the damage. So what is the loss? Loss in accounting sense uh, is means that portion of the expired cost for which no compensating value has been received. If you see the M.A. Arora, one of the economists who explains what that loss is in accounting term. In an accounting term, any expenditure that you incur or the cost you incur, if there is no constructive reward for that, or if there is no income for that, it is called as a loss. It is called as a loss. Actually, in terms of accounting sense, if you invest money for the production of goods, purchase the raw material, and purchase the man, machine, and labor, and make a production, and if the produced goods are sold, there is a return for every kind of investment that you have made. Labor has a reward, and factory using you as a reward, material that you have used as a reward, so everything will get the reward. So this is not a loss. If you incur an expenditure, suppose if you buy a raw material but which is unfit to use in the production process, so it is an expired cost where you have incurred a cost but there is no reward because that material is not utilized in the process of production, is a loss. So like that, loss in accounting terms is that portion of the cost or expired cost for which no compensating value has been incurred or received. So loss refers to the act of another definition. If you see, loss refers to the act of instance of losing the detriment or a disadvantage resulting from losing. Loss means when you lose something, whatever is lost is creating a damage or disadvantage. So damage or the disadvantage what you suffer by losing something is called as a loss. Suppose for example the raw material which are stored in the godown are totally got corrupt or wet because of the heavy rains or water percolating in the go down, has totally damaged. For example, a cotton industry stored the cotton in the particular godown where the rain enters, water enters, and whole lot of the cotton gets wet. So it is useless, which you cannot use for the weaving purpose or creating the textile. So in this case, it is called instance of losing the cotton, which is creating a loss, that is you are not able to create an textile and sell it in the market. So this is what we call as loss. The chance of loss refers to the fraction of the relative frequency of the losses. The chance of loss in insurance is the probability of loss. For example, chance of loss refers to, there is a one more term called chance of loss. How much is the percentage of occurrence of the loss? Whether loss is 100% sure or it can be, may not happen also. The chance of the loss in the insurance sense is the probability of the loss. For example, assume there are 10,000 factories in the insurance pool which may be affected due to earthquake, and on the basis of the past experience 5 have been affected, then the probability of loss is 0.005. What does it mean? 10,000 houses are there, but during the last 5 years, whenever earthquake has happened, only 5 houses got damaged. So what is the occurrence of the probability of the loss is 0.005. 0.005, that is 10,000, 5 divided by 10,000. It means that there are only 5 houses which can get damaged due to earthquake. Only 5 factories will get damaged due to earthquake. Out of total 10,000 houses, the probability of the loss is 0.005. The whole game of the insurance basis is based on the probability of the loss. It is called as probability, whether the loss may happen, whether the loss happens or does not happen. Insurance companies will estimate the probability of the loss, and based on that they give an insurance contract to the person. For example, fire insurance in the factory is given by the insurance companies, assuming that all insured companies insured against the fire will not get burnt out on a single year. In a single year, if in a single year all the insured house factories are burnt out, insurance company will get totally get closed. So insurance companies estimate their profits based on the probability of the loss. If the loss occurrence is less and possibility of the loss is less, it can be easily managed by insurance contract. If the insurer estimates correctly, he wins, or else he will lose or forced to close the business. That is what the possibility is. In a place like India, right, earthquake is very, very rare. But in a place like Japan, earthquake is quite common. So therefore, insurance companies giving the earthquake insurance in Japan are estimating the huge loss out of the earthquake, because the frequency of the earthquake is more and the possibility of loss is more. In such cases, if these losses are to be managed, heavy premiums are charged to the factories for undertaking the loss. But in a country like India, so this kind of loss is very less because earthquake possibility in India is less. That's why insurance companies charge very less amount of insurance premium, because the occurrence of the loss is less. Loss occurs due to perils, hazards. There are three different normal common words which we come across any kinds of risk management. The term risk, the peril, and the hazard. Risk we have already seen. Let us see what is a peril and what is a hazard. Perils refers to the immediate cause of the loss. Perils may be general or specific. Example, fire may affect the assets like building, automobile, machinery, equipment, and also humans. Collusion may cause damage to the automobile, resulting in a financial loss. Peril means the immediate kind of a loss, immediate kind of a reason which creates the loss. For example, in most of the factories, a short circuit and fire is a quite common peril. So peril is what you call as fire is a peril, because major real loss happens because the fire, when it gets lit, the fire starts. For example, in a factory or in a petrol bunk, yes, uh, peril may be a what do you call as the what do you call as fire. Fire may get into. So what is a hazard? Hazards are the conditions that increase the severity of the loss. For example, in a petrol bunk, smoking cigarette near the petrol tanks is a hazard. Is a hazard. This hazard may lead to peril. If the smoking happens there at any point of time, peril may happen, that is the fire. And the loss is created not because of smoking, but because of the peril, that is the fire. So fire is what you call as created because of the smoking. So when the hazards are there, perils are occurring. So when the quantum of the hazard, if it is estimated, perils possibility can also be estimated. So hazards are the reasons. For example, earthquake happens basically because of the certain problems in that particular area. So the peril is earthquake, falling of the house because of the shaking of the earth. Hazards could be the water tanks near the water reservoirs near that particular place, possibility of sulfur in the area, contact of water with the sulfur. So these are all the various kinds of, or pressure of the sea pressure over the shores and creating a lot of troubles in the earthquakes and all that. What you call as the lava in the area where the surface area. So these are all the hazards. These are all the hazards. So perils and hazards are the two reasons which create the loss, risk, and the risk is possible, it creates a loss. Hazards may be classified into physical hazards and intangible hazards. Physical intangible hazards are again classified into moral hazards, moral hazards, and societal hazards. Let us understand each one of them in detail. What is physical hazards? A physical hazard is a physically happening. To, it is a property conditions consists of those physical properties that increase the chance of loss from the various variables. For example, stocking crackers in a packed commercial complex increases the peril of risk. For example, physical hazards means physically present things. For example, if it is physically present, that particular fire may occur. For example, smoking in the uh, uh, petrol pump is a physical hazard, right? Drinking wine when your stomach is not properly working, your liver has got a disease. In that, if you drink, possibility of what you call as liver damage is there. So it is a hazard. Physical hazard, when the physical substances which are physically present in that particular place or in that particular situations may create a kind of loss, that is what we call as physical hazards. Intangible hazards are not physically present, but they may be a kind of attitudes and cultures. Intangible hazards are more or less psychological in nature. These can be further classified as moral hazards, moral hazards, and societal hazards. What is a moral hazard? Moral means naitikate. If at all the morality of the people is very less, the people involved are fraudulent in nature, that creates a lot of problem or damages. These refers to increase in the possibility of severity of a loss arising from the intention to deceive or cheat. For example, if a person who is taken the contract of constructing the building mixes less amount of cement and more amount of sand to make a profit out of it, it is called as moral hazard. Or another example is putting fire to a factory running in the losses. Purposefully, he puts a fire which is running under the loss, because that fire at least leads to compensation by the insurance company. The business is so pathetic that it does not lead any profits, it is going to create the loss. So instead of that, minimizing the loss is found to be more good by the people with a fraudulent mind. So they may put a fire to that particular area and create the with an intention to make a benefit out of the exaggerated claims, deliberately indulging into automobile collusion or damaging it, or tendency on part of the doctor to go for unnecessary checks when they are not required, since the loss will be reimbursed by the insurance company. In most of the health insurance cases, this moral hazard is present. For example, the doctors who know that it is not necessary to send a person for scanning, PET scan, or any advanced analysis, technical analysis. But even if it is not required, they do it basically because insurance companies are covering that cost. So both together, the patient and the doctor together makes a loss to that particular this one. This is called as moral hazard. What is a moral hazard? Moral hazard is uh, indifference. It is the attitude of indifference to take care of the property on the premise that the loss will be indemnified by the insurance company. So it is the carelessness. See, the people who are supposed to take the care will not take the particular care basically because it is under insurance contract. Or it is a negligence on the part of the individuals to take the care of their property. For example, an automobile owner does not take care frequently the brakes and clutches and operation of the machineries, and goes into a long ride where the accident happens because of brake failure. So the brake failure is a moral hazard basically because the person who has to take the care of a vehicle has not put his full involvement in maintaining its quality. There is a negligence on the part of the person is called as moral hazard. Societal hazards are the legal and cultural hazards. These refers to increase in the frequency and severity of the loss arising from the legal doctrines or societal customs and structure. For example, the construction or the possibility of demolition of buildings in an unauthorized area. For example, societal hazards are construction of the buildings in an unauthorized area where the law does not permit. If at all a loan is given by the bank for the construction activity in a place which is not suitable for construction, or there are cultural or legal barriers to construct the house, if the person who has taken the loan starts construction, the construction activity will be stopped by the legal exercise. So this is what we call as societal hazards. Any kind of the change of the rules, regulations, cultural atmospheres creating the loss to the particular person or the property is called as societal hazards. So these are the various types of hazards which are going to create the problem in the in business. So here we will end our lecture. Unit 3 is over. I thank all the students for your kind patience listening and all your involvement. So I continue the remaining in the next class. Thank you. Thank you.